Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and you're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep you down. Is that right? I think that's right. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Put me in a body bag. Yeah.
Yeah! You're so sinister. Margo sounds a little different. She's got a little sore throat going, but she is powering through like Daniel doing his crane kick. Margo
Yes.
is here to still dork out about 1984's Karate Kid. And it is written by Robert Mark Kamen. I think I pronounced it right. And he wrote all the Karate Kid movies, and he also wrote Transporter movies and the Taken movies. Have you seen any of those other movies? I haven't.
I saw the first Taken movie.
Is it good?
Get under the bed. Don't leave the bed.
That's all you remember.
Get under the bed. Yes.
And it's directed by John Avildsen, who also did Rocky.
Yes.
Which I did not know. And if you haven't seen Karate Kid, then I don't even know what you're doing downloading this episode. But it stars Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita, Elizabeth Shue. Adorable. Everybody drink. She's the cutest fucking thing ever. Martin Cove, Randy Heller as Daniel's mother, and William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence. When did you first see The Karate Kid, Margo?
I'm so old. I saw it at a movie theater
Me
with a
too.
bunch of my friends, and we had so much fun. It was such a good movie. And I always like when I meet people who are like, oh, I think I've seen it once or twice before. They don't really care about it. I just shake my head because I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is a great movie.
I saw it in the theater with friends too, because I would have been 13 at the time. This movie was made for me at that age. And it really is like Rocky for teenagers, is what it is. And I saw it in the theater. I saw it a million times on cable, but I haven't watched it in a really long time. And then during this rewatch, it occurred, like, so much of it came back to me, and I was like, holy shit, I have seen this movie way more than I thought. I had so much almost muscle memory about this movie. It was really fun to rewatch, though. And of course, we're talking about it and rewatching it because, everyone's watching Cobra Kai and they're talking about the show all the time, but I'm not seeing a lot of people talking about the movie. And I just started Cobra Kai. Like, I'm literally like 3 or 4 episodes in. And I don't know, I just wanted to talk about the movie, and then we could talk about the show a little bit too. I know you've seen all of it, and I have not. So I don't know if we want to get into spoilers, but we'll get into spoilers for Karate Kid. I don't know about Cobra Kai. We'll see. But also I wanted to ask you, did you see any of the other Karate Kid movies?
No, I have not.
I saw the second one, and I think I only saw it the one time, and I was like, that's fine. That's enough of that. And then I didn't see any of the other ones. Not the remakes, not the one with Hilary Swank. None of them. So, yeah, we won't be talking about those. Where should we start? Should we just start at the beginning?
Sure.
Okay. So Daniel and his mother drive. That's a long-ass drive. From New Jersey to California, to Southern California, because his mom got a job. And then it turned, like, I was like, at a restaurant?
I couldn't understand that either because first she's like, oh, it's a job with computers and stuff. And then she takes him out to dinner and she goes, they have a management plan here and it's so good. So much better than computers. I'm like, no, stay in computers.
I was I was confused about that part. I was like, okay, she moved across the country for a job that they don't really talk about. And they're like, it's with computers. And then all of a sudden I'm going to work at a restaurant. And I'm like, you moved across the country for a restaurant job? But whatever. They moved across the country, and it seems like at first he's actually going to fit in and do really well. He like meets another kid in the building, and he gets invited to a beach party, and that's where he meets Allie, which is Elizabeth Shue, and like I said, she's adorable. Like, she's ridiculously cute, I think, in this movie. It's
She
stupid.
still is.
She still is. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. It's just the whole time I kept thinking how we have all these Karate Kid movies. They're all from Daniel's point of view. And now I'm watching Cobra Kai, and that's from Johnny Lawrence's point of view, from William Zabka's point of view. And I'm like, I would like to see some shows that are purely like Allie's point of view of all of this, because I love her so much. I actually think she's a really good character.
She's her own person. She has her own point of view. She does what she wants to do. She's not a follower, and she's like actually a nice person too, and adorable. And her hair is great.
Oh my gosh, she has the best hair.
Oh my God.
I mean, her hair's so good that it's the same hair she has in Cocktail. Like, it's just perfect. And she wears the very modest swimsuit in this movie too, just like Cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love that she is someone who, like you said, she has her own thing going on, and she is very strong, and she knows what she wants, and she doesn't let people tell her what to do. And she's not just like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I can to support Daniel. Like, she's still like her own person, and I really appreciate about her. She used to date William Zabka's character, Johnny Lawrence, and he's such a dick, and it's crazy to watch it now after watching some Cobra Kai. You have a little bit more sympathy for Johnny, but he shows up on his motorbikes with all of his with his crew, I guess, and he and Elizabeth Shue have broken up, but he is not over it, and he takes it out on Daniel and just kicks his ass like immediately. In fact, he kicks his ass a lot in this movie. Poor Daniel.
Daniel gets beat up like left and right the first week in school.
It's kind of ridiculous how often Daniel gets his ass kicked in this movie, and how often he is humiliated in front of groups.
And he makes that friend the first day, and the first day the friend sees him, gets his ass kicked, and then he's just like, later, bye. And then we don't see that kid until the tournament.
Yeah,
like
what
he can
dick.
give a shit. Yeah, he's a fly-by-night friend. No way.
He's a huge asshole.
Yeah.
So that happens all, before the first day of school, and then he starts school, and that's when we get Cruel Summer, which is a total fucking bop.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. And and then again, like, he gets into like another fight on the soccer field, which you would think this would be a huge red flag for Allie at this point. Like, hey, wherever Daniel shows up, a huge fucking fight breaks out, but whatever. She sees past it. And this is when we learned that Johnny and his crew are all in this like karate dojo called Cobra Kai, and it's not very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very military like. It's very like, you know.
Right. It's aggro, and there's a lot of loyalty towards their sensei. And their sensei is a guy who has tattoos, and he sneers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they worship him. Like, whatever he tells them to do, they do.
Yeah. And it's the strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Knowing what we know about Johnny now and watching this movie again, I was struck by probably all of these boys, like, probably needed a daddy in their life, a father figure, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a whole thing. I think it's in the second season, and it's also in the third season. But in Cobra Kai, the guys actually do, years and years later, Johnny kind of goes back to Martin Cove, the original sensei, to try to help him.
Yeah.
And it turns out he was a Vietnam vet, and he's got a lot of PTSD. And the guys are like, why are you hanging out this guy? He made us assholes.
Yeah.
You know, it destroyed our relationships with our friends and our family. And he really hurt us. And then finally, there's like it's toxic masculinity, but
Totally.
he, I mean, which is all that is. But they, yeah, you're right. Like they could have been latchkey kids or just not great relationships with their fathers, and they gave it all to him, and they ruled the school. They did what the fuck they
Yeah.
wanted,
And
and they
I
were assholes.
yeah, and I think that that's kind of the underlying thing that's going on throughout this movie that I did not catch at 13, obviously, was that Daniel is also like the living in an apartment with his mom. There's no dad. I don't know if he ever mentions where his dad is,
No.
and then yeah, all those boys and how they worship their sensei. And but Elizabeth Shue has both of her parents, but then again, like her dad is like telling her what to do, and I don't know, there's a whole thing about dads in this movie and Mr. Miyagi and his father. And
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I didn't even get to Mr. Miyagi yet. So at the apartment, Daniel meets their like handyman, and that's Mr. Miyagi, that's Pat Morita, and he's very quiet and he's really minding his own business, but he notices Daniel is like getting beat up a lot, and that Daniel's trying to teach himself karate from a book, which is so me. I would still do that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what you were, especially at that age, me at like 13, 14, when I didn't understand something, I was totally one of those to the library and like would like check out a book about disco dancing or something like that to teach myself how to dance. Like this is something I would do. So I totally related to that scene. Um there's a big thing where like Daniel gets chased down by these guys yet again, and they kick his ass and they destroy his bike, and Mr. Miyagi is kind enough to fix his bike because he's a good person, and he teaches him how to trim bonsai trees, and they form a really sweet friendship after that. It's really like it is the heart of the movie, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, their relationship is very special. And so Mr. Miyagi basically can see that these boys are following the sensei. And he says, look, you guys are beating the shit out of my guy. That it's 5-1. It's not fair. Let's do this. Let's compete at this karate show, this championship, and have them settle it there. And so then Mr. Karate, excuse me, Mr. Miyagi,
Mr. Karate.
Mr. Karate Miyagi takes over and starts to train Daniel. And Daniel does things like he starts, and I remember this in the movie theater and just loving it. You know, first he's waxing on and
Yeah.
off, then he's painting the fence, and then he's painting the house. And you're like, why is he doing all this, sanding the floors, all this shit? And you're like, why is he doing all this? And then he shows him, I'm teaching you
Yeah.
basic skills. And Daniel is like, oh, I get it now. And he's training with Mr. Miyagi. We also learned Mr. Miyagi lost his wife and child.
It's so sad.
Oh, fuck me. I always forget about that
Me
part.
too. I totally forgot about. There's a couple of things in this movie that I forgot about, and we'll get to, especially stuff at the very end. But that part, I totally forgot about that part because when you're younger, like that's just like a filler scene to you as a 13-year-old. You're like, yeah, get to the fighting. But now I'm like, oh, it hits me like right, like, oh,
Right in the gut.
yeah, it's so tough. It's hard to hear. Like, he's serving our country, and while that's happening, our country, because we're so fucking terrible, has set up these Japanese internment camps, and that's where his
Right.
wife and unborn son are in this internment camp. Well, he's serving our country, which is fucking
Yeah.
crazy. And yeah, his wife and son die in like complications of childbirth. It's really, really sad. And here he is, like, however many years later, and he's still mourning them. And you could see that he's lived his life very quiet and trying to like kind of fill the void, but he hasn't really like opened up his heart again, and he does again with Daniel and lets him in. It's really, really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, so they and then he gets Daniel a car. I love the fact that like Daniel treats Allie so respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
He lets her set the boundaries. He lets her, if he has her drive the car that he gets his first
Yeah.
birthday. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is really good to he is nice to her, and I like that, but she is really strong and doesn't let anybody push her around, which is
Right.
super cool. And I want to talk about how awesome Pat Morita is. Like first of all, I looked it up. He's like 52 when they filmed this movie.
Really?
Like, this is like Wilford Brimley and Cocoon kind of thing, where like Pat Morita is like always like someone who's like super old to me, and now I'm like, he was 52. It's like not that old. But he's such a special actor. Like I think I've talked about this before. There's just certain actors that they're really special, like because they bring a certain thing to a part without even trying. And for a lot of people, Pat Morita, he was Arnold from Happy Days.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a comedian. He was funny. And for him to play a character and it's not that Mr. Miyagi isn't funny. He's definitely got, good lines in this movie, but he's all like this kind of quiet dignity that he has. And he's so special. And I think there's a reason why he was nominated for an Oscar for this movie, which I had also totally forgot until this rewatch. And I think it probably has a lot to do with that scene with him talking about his wife and child. But
he's the heart of the movie.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's we've had a lot of like movies with mentors. We get our like Obi-Wans and our Yodas and things, but I do think Mr. Miyagi's really special, and I think there's been a lot of like Mr. Miyagi ripoffs since this movie, and just stick with the original, my friends.
Yeah.
I do want to mention the scene too where he convinces Daniel to go to the Halloween dance, and he makes him the shower costume so that he could be invisible. I love that so much. So cute.
Yeah.
But then of course the dance ends the way everything ends for Daniel, which is he gets his ass kicked again. But that's when we see that Mr. Miyagi's like a total badass. He like scales this fence and jumps over and just, kicks all these kids' asses, which is pretty cool. And once again, going back to Cobra Kai, like Cobra Kai kind of has a scene that's pretty similar, and once again, I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes in, but like they're kind of setting up Johnny Lawrence as the Mr. Miyagi. Am I getting that correct?
How do I say this? Sort of. You're getting his backstory, and you're getting the reason he became what he became, and how he is influential to other kids. But they bring Martin Cove back, and then.
Okay.
But I love the fact that spoiler, but you find this out in the first couple of episodes of Cobra Kai, is that Daniel became kind of a douchebag. Like it really went to his head.
That's okay.
Which I love.
Yeah. It is one of the things I didn't understand about the show, where I was like, is the karate tournament such a big deal that he can still like be riding that fame?
Yeah.
However many years later. I don't understand that, but that's fine. Whatever. I still really like. By the way, I really like the show. I'm going to keep watching it. I think it's
good.
I think it's really, really good, and I think William Zabka's really great in it. And,
he is.
Yeah, and he made his name playing a series of fucking pricks in the 80s. Like, this was the first one. This is original OG Zabka right here, and then we got Just One of the Guys, which we also talked about in one of our old episodes. He's such a prick in that. And then Back to School.
Back to School. It's like one of his best ones. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's kind of the same dude in all of these movies. And then after that, he really didn't have too much of a career after that. But I'm glad that Cobra Kai is out there and kind of putting him back in the spotlight because I actually think he's really good in it.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's good in this. He is. Like, he is playing, or he's really good at playing a fucking asshole. He really is. So, yeah, that the Mr. Miyagi takes Daniel on, and while he's training him, there is a deal where the guys they have to stop kicking his ass, so Daniel can actually like live his life a little bit. And he and Allie go on a date, and they go to the golf and stuff, which looks super fun, and I would like to go there. In a post-COVID world, of course, because now I watch everything and I'm like, you should all be wearing masks and you're all standing too close together. But you know, it's like total like montage of them like bouncing in trampolines and driving cars. It's like super innocent, like teenage date that I don't know if we would get in a modern movie. Like now they would go to a party and get drunk, right? Isn't that what kids do? I don't know. What do kids do?
I don't know. I don't have any. I don't remember being one.
I don't remember. It was too long ago. But and then he starts his training. So we get the wax on, wax off, sanding the floors, painting the house. I love that Daniel's training involves doing all these tasks for Mr. Miyagi. It's like he gets his house remodeled and he's training. He's a multitasker. I love it. Seems like a good deal. Yeah, and then we get sad Mr. Miyagi backstory, and I guess it's like right before the tournament is Daniel finally, it's his birthday and he gets his license, and that's when Pat Morita gives him one of those cars.
Which is such a great scene still.
Such a great scene. And first of all, I love old cars. I love old cars. I think they're amazing. And I was like, I would love any of those cars. My dad has like a 1935, 39 Chevy that I covet. I love it so much. And I'm always like, are you taking good care of my car, Dad? It's my car. Like, I love it so much. But I love it's such a sweet gift to a 16-year-old. Obviously, a 16-year-old, they all want cars. I love that it's an old car and that Daniel super appreciates it. You know, it's not like, well, I want a new car or, you know, whatever. Like, I like that their relationship is just really so lovely, and that Mr. Miyagi gives him the special robe outfit thing they wear that I can't remember the name of. And it's got the bonsai logo on the back, and I just think that's really awesome. It's just a really sweet scene where they say like out loud, like, you know, you're my best friend. You're my friend.
Right.
I just like that. And then after that, we get the really sweet scene with Allie where she tells him, like, you know, you were an asshole to me and she doesn't deserve that. And he apologizes to her like a fucking man would. And I just love that she stands up for herself. Yeah. And then he lets her drive the car, which I think is great. And he says something like, yeah, you should drive. It's the 80s. Like, it's so modern and cool. And then they go to the tournament where we get, I think, one of the best montage songs of all time. You're the best around.
When I meet somebody who doesn't know what that is, I can't talk to them. I just can't. Like, what planet are you from?
Okay, I sing that song on a weekly basis to somebody at work. Like, pretty much anytime someone does something for me at work, I go, you're the best around. Like, I do it all the time, and I send the GIF. You know, I do it every time. I love that song. It's Joe Esposito, and it was actually originally written for Rocky III.
Which could work there, too.
Totally, but they went with Eye of the Tiger instead, which is
which is a better choice for them.
Yeah, totally. And that's a great montage song too. And someday we'll do an episode about Rocky 3 because I think Rocky 3 is super fun. It's got Mr. T. So we get the tournament, the montage at the tournament, and Daniel looks absolutely terrified in every single match. Don't you think?
He barely even has like a robe. He doesn't have a sash. He doesn't know what he's doing. And thank God Allie knows what to do.
Yeah.
And I like the whole thing where he says, well, she's my interpreter because he only speaks in Japanese. So they all need each other to get through all this because they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And only Allie knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But it's a great scene.
It is great. And I love how once again, like I said, I fucking love Allie so much. I love how supportive she is and how smart she is. And Mr. Miyagi's so fucking rad. Like how he's just he stands there and he's very cool and like he's very thoughtful and he's watching and he offers advice when he's not a dick like the other guy, obviously. But Daniel does look absolutely terrified in every single one of those matches. And we get the get him in a body bag or whatever that guy. It's like such a fucking asshole. And then we get the sweep the leg, which is super famous.
Yep.
And they're like in the big fight between Johnny Lawrence and Daniel. And here's what I forgot. Okay, so I totally remember that Daniel does the big crane kick and like kicks him in the face, and that's what wins him the match. What I totally forgot was that Johnny hands Daniel his trophy.
A lot of people forget that. I mean, and he does it immediately.
He hands him the trophy and says, like, you're all right. Like, you fucking earned it. He doesn't say fuck, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge thing. And it's like so tiny. It's such a tiny little moment. And I totally forgot about it. But now watching it, I just forgot that it ended with like a little bit of redemption for that character where he acknowledges like that Daniel won, that what they were doing was unfair. It's a big moment.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love that the movie ends on like a smiling Pat Morita. I love him.
Smiling Miyagi.
I love him. A smiling Miyagi. I would like to make a drink that is and call it a smiling Miyagi. I don't know what would be in it. I'm not that clever, but I feel like I would like to go to a bar and order a smiling Miyagi. So I was going to ask the question, do you think Daniel and Allie are still together? But we already know the answer.
No way.
But I wouldn't have thought, even without the other movies, even without Cobra Kai, I still wouldn't have thought they were together.
No, they're young and they have their whole lives ahead of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, she's going to outgrow him in like 5 minutes, which is exactly right. I looked up to see what the other heartthrobs of 1984 were.
Oh, that's a good one. Go for it.
Like I actually like I looked up 1984 Teen Beat, Tiger Beat covers to see. I literally did this, and I'm going to send one to Margo right after we're done talking so she can see that I did this. And here's who else was on the covers along with Ralph Macchio, because he was like quite the heartthrob. Ricky Schroeder.
Of course.
Yeah. Fuck the Rickster. Fuck that guy. He's an asshole. John Stamos was everywhere.
Blackie.
Yeah, from General Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Duran Duran.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, I knew many women, girls. We were all girls who loved Duran Duran. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Sure. Prince. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Scott Baio. Fuck Scott Baio. Ugh. I was never into Scott Baio. I can proudly say that. Michael J. Fox.
Of course.
Yeah. And C. Thomas Howell.
Yep.
Yeah. The Outsiders. I mean,
They all were.
everyone from The Outsiders were super hot. You know, Swayze, Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez, all of them.
So do you want to hear about the top songs of 84?
Oh, I have
Or do
other
you have
things.
oh, go for it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
No, it's okay. I'll do these things really quick. I wanted to tell you some of the other people who were up for the part of Daniel. It was Sean Penn. I'm like, no. Robert Downey Jr.
No.
No. Charlie Sheen.
No.
No. Emilio Estevez.
Maybe.
Maybe. That's what I thought too. Nicolas Cage.
No.
No. Anthony Edwards. Maybe.
Maybe.
C. Thomas Howell.
Maybe.
Maybe. Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
He's too good looking.
Too short.
Too short. He did. Pat Morita towers over him. The Eric Stoltz. Which,
yeah,
you know,
nothing.
Dude, he got replaced by everybody in the 80s. And then apparently one of the people who were up for William Zabka's role was Crispin Glover. I'm sorry. I don't know why I started laughing when I said that.
Oh my God.
Isn't that hilarious? I'm like, he's too weird. Crispin Glover is a fucking weirdo. He is too weird for that movie. And then I also read that Demi Moore was considered for the role of Allie.
Too old.
I would think she was too old, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. Pat Morita was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but he lost, and I looked it up to see who he lost to, and it was Hang S. Noor from The Killing Fields.
Oh gosh.
That movie is a fucking bummer.
And his life, he was killed.
I know. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Like,
no, it's a great story, but
Yeah.
like it's a fucking bummer.
yeah. And then I looked up to see who the other people nominated, and it was like Adolph Caesar for A Soldier Story, which I don't think I've ever seen. John Malkovich for Places in the Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Morita. And then someone named Ralph Richardson for Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes.
What?
Yeah, right? That movie was a bum and no one liked it. How is this dude even nominated? I don't know. And then my last thing, and then we'll do the songs. The summer of 1984 was absolutely huge for movies, and I wanted to list some of the movies of the summer. So,
Okay.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yep.
I still like it. It's problematic though. Revenge of the Nerds. Speaking of problematic.
Yes.
Revenge of the Nerds. We did an episode of F This Movie about that one, if you want to hear us talk about it. Also problematic. 16 Candles.
Yep.
Super problematic. We should, you know what? I did an episode on 16 Candles.
With the old host.
With the old host. I think we should redo it with me and you.
Absolutely we should, because he made me crazy.
You're like, Sonia gets it. You know what? Yeah, it was an let me just put it this way. It was an interesting conversation. Other movies, Gremlins.
Love it.
Love it. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, which
Excellent.
good one. Ghostbusters.
Excellent.
One of the best comedies of all time. Purple Rain.
Yep.
One of my favorite episodes we've ever done of Dorking Out is on Purple Rain. Please go back and listen to it. Top Secret. Hilarious.
Great movie.
Bachelor Party.
Great movie.
And Red Dawn.
Great movie.
Yeah. Summer of 84, man.
Those are some good fucking movies.
Yeah.
All right. So we had really good pop songs in 84 too. Number one was Prince, When Doves Cry. That was the number one song of the year. And it's fucking amazing.
It's such a good song. It's still an awesome song. And that whole soundtrack is chef's kiss. Mwah. I love it.
It's fantastic. Bruce Springsteen, who just got arrested for a DUI, but it was like
I saw
0.02 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was super low.
It was a shot. Yeah, it was Dancing in the Dark.
Yeah, that song was everywhere.
Everywhere. Van Halen, Jump.
Yep, also everywhere.
The Go-Go's, Head Over Heels. I love the
I
Go-Go's.
fucking love the Go-Go's.
Love it all. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Relax.
Oh, I love that song.
So fucking great. And then last one, Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, that's a good one too. I love
Really
Tina
good
Turner.
song. She's great. She's going to be in the next Book versus movie.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. She's so good. Everybody, start appreciating Tina Turner now. Don't wait.
Mhm.
Don't wait until something bad happens to her. Download all of her shit now and listen to it. It's so good.
I think I could sing. Ready?
Yeah.
I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money.
Oh my God,
Ooh.
you sound just like Tina Turner.
I do. I don't have any more voice, but I could do that.
Oh my gosh, that was really good, Margo. You sounded just like her.
Oh my God, I can't talk anymore.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm like, I don't know if we should do anything else we're dorking out about. It sounds like you got nothing left.
The only thing, no, I want to say because it's really good. I don't know if you saw this, Barb and Star on the Vista Del Mar.
It is on my list.
Fucking amazing.
Okay.
It's fucking amazing.
All right, I'm watching it this weekend then. I was hoping to watch it last night after I finished Karate Kid, but it was too late, and I was like, no, I need to give it full attention. So it is on my list for the weekend. I'm so glad to hear that it's amazing because the previews were like, I was like, oh, they made a movie just for me. So I will definitely watch it.
It's Kristen Wiig and who was this? I wrote her name down. Annie Manuro.
Oh yeah, okay. Her co-writer from Bridesmaids.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then Jamie Dornan is like the love interest, and he's fucking hilarious. And it's so cheesy, and there's a whole subplot where their culottes save their lives.
Oh my God.
It's everything you need in a movie. Pay the $20. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, it's the best intro for a movie I've seen in a long time, where they use the song "Guilty" by Barbara Streisand.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm fucking watching that shit tonight.
Guys, watch that shit this weekend. It's freezing cold. There's nothing to do. It all takes place in Florida. It's great.
Okay. I'm doing it. Thank you for the rec, because now I feel even more convinced that is $19.99 well spent. I will be watching it. I wanted to mention that I finally started Ted Lasso, and
Isn't it great?
It's so fucking
wonderful,
funny.
Yeah,
it's so funny, and I love Ted Lasso, and I've been. I haven't read like a million think pieces about Ted Lasso, although I think there probably are some. I love how positive he is. Like he is like a Leslie Knope in that he is going to win you over whether you like it or not. And I haven't finished the first the season. I'm like halfway through maybe, and I love him so much. He's so good, and Jason Sudeikis is really, really great.
It's all about kindness.
Yeah.
And how much kindness can get you in life. And it's about toxic masculinity, but it's told in a way that's so not preachy.
Mm-hmm.
And did you finish it yet, or are you still?
No, I'm like halfway.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I love how positive he is, and I don't know, how he says yes to things, like just like stupid shit, like how he's playing soccer with like the girl that he sees like in the park near his place, and just stuff like that. I just really, really like it. It's awesome, and I can see why people have mentioned it to me so much the last couple months. They're like, Sonia, there's a show out there that you would love and you're not watching it, and it's called Ted Lasso, and they were right. So I love it. I also watched the first episode of Crime Scene, The Vanishing at Cecil Hotel. Did you start that yet?
I
only watched the first
Returns.
one. Okay.
I don't think you need to see the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay, spoiler.
Yeah.
She died. Not quite sure how, but it was probably an accident.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes on and on
Oh,
and
all right.
on. It's like 4 fucking episodes.
Could I just watch the last episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I watched the first one and I was like, what if I just skip to the end? That's what I was leaning towards, to be honest. Maybe I'll do that. And then I also watched the first reunion for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and those chicks deliver. They're
Like dominoes.
yeah, it's they're crazy,
but in the best possible way.
Totally.
Just so entertaining. Yeah.
So entertaining. And the ones that I was like, these chicks have no fucking personality. I don't even know why they're on the show. And then they do the reunion, and like Meredith and Lisa are like fucking batshit.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
the
like,
best part.
I'm like,
Meredith's
yes.
weak.
Yeah, she's still pretty weak, but Lisa is like crazy. It's good.
Yeah, I have Lisa Barlow voice. I love that. I know, but I love that.
You do.
I love how she's starting a business with her 2 sons.
She's such an asshole.
She's such an asshole. Doesn't feed her kids. They like all are on Slurpees, and they're making their own Wolf brand of like boys toiletries.
Yeah.
And she makes her sons like read a pitch to one of her dumb friends. And they're great. I love it. I love it. It's
you
so great.
totally sound like her right now.
Oh, maybe I'll change
Look,
it.
I love myself. Some people read books to learn how to love themselves, and then Heather's all, you should write a book. I won't read it, but you should.
Heather won me on the second episode.
Yeah.
When they had a 20s theme party, and she was helping somebody get home, and she's waving to a car, and she's like, I'm the woman in a flapper dress and cankles. I'm like, that's my friend.
She won me over when they went snowboarding or something, and she was, oh no, they went like snowmobiling, and she's riding it, and she's like, I'm a cool rider. Cool rider. And I was like, Heather and I would be friends.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, it's good. We should go before your voice is completely gone.
Yeah.
You can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com, and you could email us dorkingoutshow@gmail.com, where you could get some stickers. We have new stickers. They're probably arriving at Margo's doorstep any second now.
They showed up today.
Ta-da! See? And if you really like us, you could give us a good review on Apple Podcasts. That would really offset all the ones that say Sonia swears too much, and these lady and these lady podcasters hurt my fifis. And you can find us at Dorking Out Show on Twitter and sometimes Facebook, but really not so much. You could go to we also do What a Creep, and we have a private Facebook group. Just type in What a Creep group, and if you don't look like a creep, we'll let you in, and there's a lot of Dorking Out Show fans in there too, so we welcome that. Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Brooklyn Fitchick. That's for Twitter and Instagram, and my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
This was so fun. I'm so glad that we talked about Karate Kid, and I'm looking forward to watching more Cobra Kai, and then you and I offline can talk about Cobra Kai at great length, because I'm going to have thoughts and feelings. But when your voice is back. Not that I don't like this voice. I actually really do.
No, it's actually kind of fun. But yeah, I want to be myself again.
Yeah.
I just had a little bit of surgery, you guys. In a few weeks, I'll be footloose, fancy-free, just back to me.
Yeah, and just no one needs to worry. It's not serious.
Nope.
She's totally fine, but her voice is all having a hard time today, and I've totally been there.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd like to sing us out with some Private Dancer.
A dancer for money. Do what you want me to do.
Margo, you're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep you down.